Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start having a little bit of fun with some of the chord voicings when playing our chord progression. Now, I must admit, I was very inspired by Garth Brooks for the choice of chord here. When I first started playing the guitar, one of the things that I stumbled across was that I could actually take an E major chord shape, an open position chord, and I could move it around the neck, and it sounded really beautiful. And it was incredibly easy to do because it was one shape. Now, little did I know that we could actually apply that same approach to different chord shapes. And that's exactly what we're going to do for this lesson. Let's start out with our C major chord. Now what we're going to do is we're going to shift that chord all the way up the neck so that our third finger is at the 10th fret. The 10th fret of the A string is the note of G. Now we're holding the same shape. We haven't moved our finger distances. If you look, when you fret a C major chord, your root is on the 3rd fret, the next note is on the 2nd fret, and finally your first finger is fretting on the 1st fret. So it's over 3 frets. So if I go up to the 10th fret, I'm playing the 10th, the 9th, and the 8th. So I'm holding essentially a C shape. But then we've got the open strings. Now, in some instances, this won't work. But in this position, what a beautiful sounding chord. Now, if I wrote that chord out, it would have some very elaborate name, and we don't need to worry about that. As I said, I saw a video of Garth Brooks, and he was doing exactly this, playing a beautiful acoustic country ballad, moving this shape around to achieve chords that he could have played in the open position, but in moving them, it introduced other chord extensions and other beautiful sounds because of the open strings. So move up to the 10th fret with your 3rd finger. And we're just going to call that chord G major for argument's sake. Like I said, it's got other notes. It would have another name. Let's move that down 2 frets. We're still keeping that same shape. So my 3rd finger is in the 8th fret. The 8th fret of the A is the note of F, and that's the root note of this shape. So we're playing on the 7th fret D and the 6th fret of the B. So this is an F chord, but again, we've got open strings. Wow, what a fantastic sounding chord. Again, if I wrote that chord out, it would have such a complicated and elaborate name. But we don't need to worry about that. In the key of C major, we have all the natural notes, and we can play them together. That's a G, that open string, and that's an E. They're natural notes. We can include them in any of the chords from the key of C major. What a beautiful sound. So our chord progression is now going to be a bar of C major, the same structure as before. We're still going to use C major in this position, but instead of playing our G major and our F major, we're simply going to move this shape around the neck. So C major. Now we're all the way up to the 10th fret, so that's our G major. Make sure that open G and open top E are allowed to ring out. Then back down to F major. Now we have 2 beats on C, and then all the way up for 2 beats on our G chord. Okay, so I'm going to play through the chord progression for you using this moving C shape, making use of those open strings and really enjoying the sound that is produced from these new chord extensions. We don't need to learn any new chord fingerings. It's the same shape. Here we go. I'm going to play through for you single strums. 1, 2, 3, 4. So make sure you take care when moving the shapes around. Make sure that you keep a consistent finger shape. In other words, as you move up the neck, don't let fingers move into different frets because it won't work. By keeping the consistent finger shape, we can still outline the chords of C, G, and F, but by using those open strings, it just adds these more elaborate chord extensions. Okay, so now it's your turn to play through our chord progression using the movable C shape and using single strums.